Greetings, brothers and sisters in Christ. We come to the 29th Sunday of Ordinary Time. We are still in Matthew chapter 22. In today's gospel, the Pharisees are trying to find a way to trip up Jesus to keep him at arm's length. And I want to begin by saying I think we do the same thing sometimes. Jesus wants us to follow him fully, to give ourselves to him 100%. And I think for many of us, me included, we're willing to give him this much of my life, but I want to keep a little bit back for me. And Jesus says, no, that's not enough. Don't keep me at arm's length. Let me come in totally. So in the Pharisees, I think we must see ourselves also. The Pharisees ask Jesus, is it lawful to pay the census tax to Caesar or not? Here's the trick. Jesus has no correct answer, right? If he says, yes, it is lawful, then he's breaking the Jewish teaching that says only God is king, because the Romans believe that Caesar is a king also. And if Jesus says no, then he puts himself in trouble with the Roman authorities who are probably listening nearby. So there's no correct answer. So what does Jesus say? Show me the coin that pays the tax. Whose image is this and whose inscription? So it's important to remember that the second commandment from the Hebrew tradition is to not believe in graven images. So Jewish people would never have an image of a god. They would never have an idol to some false god. And trying to picture what God looks like, you can't do that. By the way, in the coming of Jesus Christ, we now have seen the invisible God who is made visible. So our Catholic tradition is that images can help us. The Jewish people were nervous about that. It got in the way. So then Jesus says, whose image is on the coin? And they said, Caesar. The Romans thought Caesar was a king, and Jesus said, well, then give that to Caesar. And then Jesus says, what do you give to God? Give to God whatever has the image of God on it. Remember back in Genesis chapter 1, verse 27. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him, male and female he created them. So what bears the image of God? You do and I do. So what are we to give to Caesar? Give him the tax. But what do we give to God? Everything. He wants us to give our total self to him, to be spent for him, if you will. We call this the Imago Dei, the image of God, which has been planted on you and on me. Note that Jesus says that we are to repay to God what is God's. So we're not paying out of what we own, we're giving back to God what is rightfully God's. Here in the United States, we're preparing for elections. How do we look at our government leaders? Human governments are called to act on behalf of the preciousness of every single purpose, because every single human being has on them the image and likeness of God. And so whether you're a Democrat or Republican, it's about honoring God's image in all of God's people, and we fight for a government that will do the same.